Like race, gender is also socially constructed. Sex and gender are not the same thing. Sex is something that is biologically determined, and gender is something that is socially learned and constructed. Welcome to Lecture 8.1, Module 8, Chapter 11. Sociologists working in this area always confront the question of to what extent biology creates differences between men and women. Biological determinism attributes most of the differences to physical characteristics. Sociologists tend to see more social construction than biologists do. Here you see why sociologists differ from a biological determinist argument. The idea that men are more aggressive because of hormonal differences is suspect because there is a wide overlap between physical aggression in men and women. It's not true that men are always more aggressive. By recognizing the existence of intersexed people who have mixed biological sex characteristics and are really neither male nor female, it helps to see that all of us are on a spectrum and that the two categories, male and female, don't completely describe humanity. About 1 in 2,000 people, and that's a conservative estimate, are born not clearly male or female. This is called intersexed or between the sexes. Transgendered people are not the same as intersex people. Transgendered people are those who live according to gender roles that are different than the ones that are normally associated with their sex. Welcome to Lecture 8.1, Module 8, Chapter 11. Homophobia affects everyone, including heterosexuals, because it encourages strict conformity to the expectations of gender. It discourages men from being feminine, for having empathy, and for showing their emotions or being gentle. And it also discourages women from being strong and competent and independent sometimes. Men who endorse the most traditional male roles tend to be the most homophobic, and sometimes the people who are the most homophobic are people who are so afraid of being homosexual that they try to prove to the world that they hate homosexuality so much that they couldn't possibly be gay themselves. Usually heterosexuals who are very secure in their sexuality find the fact that other people are attracted to the same sex to be interesting, but it's not something that they have a great passionate hate for. The institutionalization of gender expectations is particularly problematic for anyone brave enough to live in a role that is comfortable for them, but that goes up against the traditional gender expectations of society. Gender is built into our institutions very deeply. In these next few slides, we'll explore some of the consequences of gender stratification and of sexism in our society. Here you see that gender stratification exists even when women get higher education. Simply attaining an education will not undo what's already built into the institutions of society. We need to make large changes rather than simply changes in individuals. It's very important to debunk the usual definition you hear in popular culture of feminism. Feminists think in very different ways, but all feminists agree that there is a need to analyze and support changes in the position of women in society. The different theories of feminism tend to focus on different issues. Liberal feminism looks at inequality primarily in things like equal pay for equal work. Socialist feminists look at the way that capitalism is structured and the ways in which the elites in capitalism benefit from gender segregation. Multiracial feminists look at the interaction of all the different statuses, gender, race, class, and sexualities, etc., and understand that they come together to influence women's lives. So multiracial feminists are intersectionalists. Radical feminists look at the oppression of women, particularly in terms of how patriarchy has resulted in the total control of women's bodies by men in power. And they see violence against women as the way in which women are kept under control. With globalization, it becomes increasingly important that we see the differences among women in the world in terms of stratification in the world system. After completing this summary, you'll be ready to go on to learning activities and then on to lecture 8.2.